New Hampshire governor signs anti-trans youth healthcare ban into law. Yeah, anti-trans youth, not anti-child mutilation. Gotcha. In January 2025, this was done on August 1st, so okay, a ban on some gender-affirming surgeries for youth went into effect in New Hampshire. In June of this year, 2 laws passed in New Hampshire, HB 377 and HB 712, which together effectively ban all gender-affirming care for new patients under the age of 18 in the state. Today, both bills were signed into law by Governor Kelly Ayotte. Both bills will go into effect in January of 2026. Thankfully, the bills include a continuing care clause for current patients, but cruelly strip away any opportunity for care in New Hampshire from patients who are not able to begin care before January 1st, 2026. 603 Equality and the Campaign for Southern Equality urge families with transgender youth to consult with their child's physician as soon as possible about care plans. The Trans Youth Emergency Project is here to provide support to families of trans youth in New Hampshire in this difficult climate. In response, 603 Equality and the Campaign for Southern Equality announced that the Trans Youth Emergency Project, or TYEP, will expand into New Hampshire, providing financial and logistical support to families of transgender youth impacted by New Hampshire's ban on gender-affirming care. So once we finally make it illegal to mutilate children, and we have, like, doctors and parents who push this on their kids in lawsuits all over the country, can we just take the people from organizations like this and, like, throw them in prison? Is that something we can do? Can we just do that? In other words, mutilate them fast before this happens. Yeah, pretty much. The Trans Youth Emergency Project provides one-on-one patient navigation services to help families of transgender youth identify a gender-affirming care provider in an access state where care is legal, and offers families impacted by state bans on gender-affirming care travel grants of $500, renewable 4 times per year, to help them travel out of state for care. Since launching the Trans Youth Emergency Project in March of 23, the Campaign for Southern Equality has distributed more than $900,000 to help families of transgender youth continue to access healthcare. I really wonder what kind of lawsuits are gonna fly when some of these kids end up desisting. It is the only project of its scale and scope in the country, serving families in every state that has passed a ban on gender-affirming care and families in access states losing care due to clinic closures. The project works in close partnership with state organizations to provide families of transgender youth with resources. New Hampshire's total ban on gender-affirming care for youth is part of a larger nationwide effort to restrict this health care. Since 2021, 28 states across the country have passed legislation restricting or banning gender-affirming health care for transgender youth. In June of 2025, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld gender-affirming care bans impacting trans youth in United States versus Skirmety. What a name. A challenge to Tennessee's ban on gender-affirming care. With this decision, gender-affirming care bans will remain in place for the foreseeable future. A devastating blow to families who have been forced to travel extreme distances to access this medically necessary care. Additionally, an executive order from the Trump administration has recently contributed to the closure of gender-affirming care clinics in access states across the country, further limiting healthcare options for families of transgender youth. As a result of these political attacks on gender-affirming healthcare, many families have been forced to make challenging decisions about how to support their children who depend on this care that is now prohibited or inaccessible. The Trans Youth Emergency Project is a resource for New Hampshire families who are now making these tough decisions. Written by Lynn's Jacows, they them pronouns. Okay, all right. Oh, actually, no, never mind. It wasn't written by them. Lynn's Jacows, they them pronouns, founder of 603 Equality, said, "My heart is breaking today for transgender young people who are not only tangibly losing access to life-saving healthcare, but also receiving a disturbing message of rejection from their state government. To youth impacted by these bills, please know you're loved, you're worthy of respect and dignity, and there is a community in New Hampshire and beyond that is ready to support you." Someone named Van Bailey, also they them pronouns, family resources manager at the Campaign for Southern Equality and a patient navigator for the Trans Youth Emergency Project, added, "Every day I speak with families of transgender youth who are worried about the future. Many are panicking, unsure of where or when they'll get the medicine that their child needs to continue leading a healthy, happy life." It's really interesting to call it medicine. "These laws are cruelly thrusting families into impossible choices, and it is deeply unfair. I'm honored that we can provide some measure of relief and support, talking families through their options and reminding them that there's a whole community behind them, ready to pitch in and help them through crisis." A surge of anti-trans legislation like this has passed all over the country in the past 2 years. Until 2021, no state had laws that banned transgender youth from accessing this healthcare. I like how they say until 2021, no state had laws that banned this. Yeah, because people didn't quite realize exactly what was happening as of yet. The emotional manipulation worked for the short term. On July 16th, Andy Nyo here tweeted out an attempted Islamic honor killing. 2 fundamentalist Muslim migrants from Iraq are on trial in Olympia, Washington, over a horrific attack on their teenage daughter outside of Timberlane High School last year. Prosecutors say Ihsan Ali and Zahra Ali strangled the girl to try and kill her, as revenge for her rejecting their plan to marry her off to an older Muslim man in their home country. The girl's parents disapproved of her living an American lifestyle and having an American boyfriend. They allegedly hunted her down after she ran away the day she was supposed to fly to Iraq. Neither of the parents speak English, and both are being provided with an Arabic translator at trial. Watch the harrowing surveillance video showing the brave schoolboys fighting the dad to try and save the girl as she was being choked out. The girl was able to break free after multiple people intervened. The mother allegedly grabbed the girl by the neck when she tried to run for her life. It's heavily censored, but...
A possible attempted honor killing, which shook the Timberline High School community, now on trial in Thurston County Superior Court. Prosecutors accuse both Ihsan and Zahra Ali of choking their 17-year-old daughter outside the high school to the point where she couldn't breathe and lost consciousness. Part of the incident was caught on camera from a nearby bus.
Her eyes were rolling to the back of the head. You can tell she was not able to breathe. The look on his face and the way he was squeezing, he was choking her.
Court records state the victim's father had previously threatened her with an honor killing for refusing an arranged marriage with an older man in another country. Several bystanders, including other students, the bus driver, and other adults passing through the area, had to step in and pry the victim from her father's grip.
I noticed her eyes rolling to the back of her head, so right there as I grabbed his hand and I pulled it off, was able to spread his arms apart, and that's when she got free.
Other eyewitnesses described the chaos unfolding in front of the high school, with teens screaming.
Her eyes are rolling in the back of her head. She can't breathe. Someone call 911. Let go. Everyone seemed in a panic.
So, all the people who rescued her are Chads. Yeah, true and real. I'm glad that there was a whole bunch of people, even like other school kids, who were like, holy fuck, we have to intervene. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, man. I was expecting, something like this to come out of, Missouri, right? Is it Missouri? Minnesota? I don't know. I get the M states confused, except for Massachusetts, because we're superior. Is an honor killing legal in their country? I mean, probably, right? Minnesota, thank you. The Caliphate of Minnesota. I'll remember eventually. Iraqi parents acquitted of attempted honor killing of teen daughter in Washington state, convicted on lesser charges. So... You can in broad daylight attempt to choke your daughter to death. And that's fine. That's just their culture. Why would we charge them for that? That's perfectly normal to them. We can't expect them to adapt to our norms of not honor killing your children in the United States. A Thurston County jury has acquitted 2 Iraqi parents of attempted murder in connection with an alleged honor killing involving their teenage daughter outside her high school in Lacey, Washington last fall. The fact that it was a whole fucking jury and not just a judge, that's insane. That's insane. You know that saying where it's like better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6? I don't know if that holds up anymore, man. I don't know if that holds up in current year. Holy shit. Ihsan and Zahra Ali, the parents at the center of the case, after 3 days of jury deliberation, were both found not guilty of attempted murder. I don't know how, since once again, it's literally on fucking video, man. Literally on video of them trying to fucking honor kill her. Holy fuck, my brain. However, the jury did convict Ihsan Ali, the father, of second-degree assault and unlawful imprisonment. Zahra Ali, the mother, was found guilty only of violating a court order, a lesser charge. She was acquitted on all counts of assault and unlawful imprisonment. I want to check out the responses to this tweet. While that's obviously something against the law, the girl was running away from home, apparently for good reasons. In that context of her running away, they grabbed her and tried to take her back home. So yeah, well, I agree the situation is Exhibit A on why we need to reform our immigration system. That doesn't sound like attempted murder. This fucking retard unironically thinks strangling your daughter till her eyes roll back in her head is not attempted murder. In order to attempt murder, you must want to murder someone. Does he not understand what honor killings are? What happens in the liberal mind? I am fascinated at how they operate on a day-to-day basis. The evidence obviously showed that the parents wanted to send their daughter off in an arranged marriage, not to murder her, which is why they were convicted of second-degree assault. She refused the marriage, which is where the honor killing then comes in. What kind? Holy shit! This is actually insane. The judge did not allow any mention of religious because of it being an honor killing. Ooh. Ooh. Man. Sentencing for both parents is scheduled for mid-August. Ihsan Ali remains in custody pending sentencing, while Zahra Ali was released from jail on her own recognizance. As a part of her release conditions, she must stay in Thurston County and continue to comply with existing no-contact orders. The violent altercation occurred on the morning of October 18th, 2024. According to court testimony, the couple confronted their daughter near a bus stop outside Timberline High School after the teen had fled home earlier that day. She reportedly left with only $100 in cash, seeking refuge with a school counselor and a local youth shelter, after allegedly refusing to travel to Iraq for an arranged marriage to an older man. Multiple witnesses testified that Ihsan Ali placed his daughter in a chokehold, yelling, "It's not right, you are not supposed to do this," as he allegedly strangled her until she lost consciousness. Not attempted murder, by the way. That's perfectly normal. You hit your kid on the ass a couple of times and you're an abusive parent. You shouldn't have hit their ass. You shouldn't spank them. You should choke them out instead. That's the legal way to do it. Video evidence shown in court captured the scene as students and passerby attempted to stop the attack. One student described the teen appearing lifeless and pure white as she went limp in her father's arms. Not attempted murder, by the way. The teen's boyfriend tried to intervene, only to be allegedly punched in the face by Zahra Ali. Witnesses also said Zahra physically attacked her daughter during the struggle. At the time of the incident, Zahra was under a court order prohibiting contact with her daughter's boyfriend and had been previously barred from school grounds. Well, if there's a no-contact order with the boyfriend, it sounds like the safest place for the daughter is to just move into the boyfriend's parents' house, right? The daughter, now 18, took the stand and tearfully recounted her fear and heartbreak. Don't know why this surprises anyone. Reminder, in that religion, administering beatings to your wife is mandatory, not just allowed. You're told it's imperative to do so. I don't think any of us here are surprised that this has happened. I think my surprise was that it happened in Washington and not Minnesota, you know? But my surprise comes in the fact that the people in our country have been so disgustingly poisoned that an entire jury would see a father try to murder his child for not wanting to marry an older man as a minor and say, "Oh, that's just their culture. That's perfectly fine. We can't convict them on that. We would be bigots for that." "No matter what I say, it doesn't really change," she told the jury, describing the moment her father allegedly choked her. She broke down, expressing her fear that she would be forced to leave the country and never return. However, Judge Christine Schaller did not allow the prosecution to enter into evidence that the underage girl's Muslim parents allegedly told her she was going to be married off to an older Muslim man in their home country before the choking attack, claiming that the backstory would be too prejudicial to the two defendants. Are you kidding me? That is like a literal prime issue in the case. That's why she ran away. But fucking prejudicial my ass. What the fuck? Hang the judge, unironically. School bus driver John DeNicola was among those who helped stop the attack. He testified that he physically pulled Ihsan Ali's arms off his daughter. She was in distress, her eyes were rolling into the back of her head, DeNicola recalled. The look on his face and the way he was squeezing, he was choking her. Another eyewitness, Mary Wagner, we saw both of these people in the video, called 911 and described the teen as absolutely terrified with hair in her face and looking completely disheveled. The girl and her boyfriend ran into the school building following the incident, with the teen screaming that her father had just tried to kill her. According to Como News, prosecutors initially suggested the case might involve the threat of an honor killing, but later clarified in court filings that there is no express evidence that such was the motivation of either defendant in this case. I am sick of this. I am absolutely sick of this. And it's only just begun here, and I feel like it's going to get just as bad as it is in the UK. The British have basically lost their entire fucking country. And like, seeing the same exact doublespeak and the same fear from our legal representatives, and like, oop, we gotta just let people do whatever the fuck they want, because I might get called racist and lose my job, because that's still something that happens. It's just insanity. It's actually insanity to me. Zahra Ali still faces separate charges related to burglary and violation of the restraining order. If convicted on the charges, Ihsan Ali faces up to 14 months for the assault and 12 months for unlawful imprisonment. Prosecutors have not indicated whether they will pursue additional charges in connection with Zahra Ali's other pending legal issues. Can we also just send them back? Right? Like, they're here as migrants. I don't know if they're here legally or not, but they tried to kill their daughter, so I really don't care. Send them back. Get them out. Remember, in Germany, a group of migrants was acquitted of gang raping a girl, and the reason for that was the psychiatrist said they had problems from their travel to Germany. So this isn't surprising to you at all. I just don't understand, right? Like, if it was just the judge, you could be like, well, yeah, this is expected of a corrupt judicial system that prioritizes activists over actual impartial judges. But even a jury declined to have the charges pressed against the parents, right? The jury acquitted them. So it's not just a corrupt judicial system anymore. It's just regular people who are like, no, that's fine. That's just their culture. At this point, don't call them migrants, call them invaders. I think a big reason why whenever people talk about being against illegal immigration, and a bunch of like room temp IQ troglodytes always go like, you hate all immigration, you're a racist, is because of all of this like double and triple speak trying to equate migrant or like undocumented person. So you don't say illegal immigrant. And then you get people unironically being like, well, they might have came here illegally, but they haven't committed a crime. And it's like, do you hear yourself, sir and or madame? Illegal invaders and insidious infiltrators. It bothers me, I guess, the most that a lot of people who believe these things and who vote for policies that just turn areas into garbage don't ever have to end up living with the effects of what they vote for. And if they, for some reason, do, they end up just leaving because they have the means to do so. And then they ruin other areas. GOG put out this tweet on August 1st. Thanks to the dedication of developers and publishers, we're launching freedom-to-buy.games. To raise awareness on censorship in gaming, 13 games are now available for free for 48 hours as a part of our stand for creative freedom and preservation. We believe that if a game is illegal and responsibly made, players should be able to enjoy it today and decades from now. In our statement, when games are delisted today because of discomfort, reviving them tomorrow becomes exponentially harder. Visit freedom-to-buy.games to learn more. So yesterday I briefly touched on it, but I didn't have time to like bring up the actual tweets. But I saw this and I was like, how long until there's something that they don't want to put in their Freedom-to-Buy shop? And the answer was, it didn't take very long at all. So Haru here said, gonna press X to doubt on that one. And GOG here from December 2020. Earlier today, it was announced that the game Devotion is coming to GOG. After receiving many messages from gamers, we've decided to not list the game in our store. So they also, back in 2020, delisted a game from their shop. And let's just see. We got Postal, Agony and Agony, Leap of Love, Being a Dick. Oh, I kind of wanted to play that because it looked absolutely absurd. Leap of Faith, House Party, I Love Honey Pop, Lust Theory, Treasure of Nadia, Summer's Gone, Fetish Locator Week 1, Sapphire Safari, and Helping the Hotties, okay? Alright, well, it doesn't look like Devotion is back here. I find it interesting, right? I mean, this is like a good PR move to do. Well, everybody is censoring everything, just coming out and being like, yeah, hey, we're not gonna do that, but they do that when it's something that they don't like. It's very interesting. And then people in the comments here, we got Savvy again, who's been going after that feminist coalition from Australia. There were apparently some they removed at the behest of the CCP. I saw some talking about for an Easter egg. Any news on that? And someone else said, note the legal part. It's illegal in China. If and when the CCP says to remove porn, they'll do that too. You're not even sure you see why not to have devotion on there. It's not your jam, but you don't see why it should be denied. I know devotion has a lot of, I guess, people against it. I don't know if it's like a rape game or what. It was years ago that devotion had its issues. So I don't remember much about it, but it's like, if you're gonna say, hey, we don't want any kind of censorship, even if we don't like something. We want it to be, if it's legal, you know, we want it to be available. And then doing the exact same thing years ago just seems a little hypocritical. And I was like, you know what? This could be years ago. Maybe they put devotion up on their store now as like a, hey, we've changed our minds, we've grown. But it's not here. So, I mean, I can't imagine that their position has changed. Otherwise, it would be on here. It's a very, very good horror game. The game was delisted for a background texture with calligraphy script comparing Xi Jinping to Winnie the Pooh. Oh, it was that game, was it? That's even sillier reason to have it delisted. Old Orchard Beach Reserve police officer being held by ICE in Massachusetts prison. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is detaining a Reserve Old Orchard Beach police officer from Jamaica. John Luke Evans is being detained at the Plymouth County Correctional Facility in Mass. He's the second law enforcement officer in Maine detained by ICE, allegedly for an expired visa and trying to buy a firearm. How the fuck did he become a police officer? What is this? Federal Immigration and Customs Enforcement accuses Old Orchard Beach Police knowingly employing a so-called undocumented worker from Jamaica. How? How did he get hired? I'm so confused. Jean-Luc Evans not only broke U.S. immigration law, but he also illegally attempted to purchase a firearm. The fact that a police department would hire an illegal alien and unlawfully issue him a firearm while on duty would be comical if it weren't so tragic, ICE Boston Director Patricia Hyde said. But yeah, no, I agree with her. This would be comical if it weren't so sad. And also, I'm surprised it happened in Maine instead of directly in Massachusetts. I'm gonna be real. To be accused of being reckless, I'm highly disappointed that someone would think that the police department, the town of Old Orchard, would do that. Old Orchard Beach Police Chief Elise Chard said, if he's here illegally and he was working for your police force, like he's literally in a uniform, what else could it be? What do you mean? What do you mean to be accused of being reckless? Why are you disappointed? These people. Chard said the federal government is the one who verified Evans and said he was cleared to work in the first place through the Department of Homeland Security's E-Verify program. We did what we were supposed to do, Chard said, and I believe that the documents he gave us, we did the verification as we would have with anybody else. Oh, they're just like, it's not our fault we hired an illegal migrant, it's the government's fault. It's shedding bad light upon her and him, and it's making him look out to be a criminal. Well, if he's here illegally, I mean, he is. Brent Kinney, who hired Evans to work as a security officer for OOB Pier, said, 2 years ago, Kinney hired Evans for security on the pier. He's kind, he's polite, he'll treat you with respect. He's one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life. And this should not have been done to him. Chard said Evans was doing a great job and says all reserve officers are issued a firearm while on duty. She says she hopes the court finds no wrongdoing so the young man can get on with his life. ICE has still not said what specific charges Evans faces. CBS 13 reached out again Thursday to ask that question, but have not heard back. We also don't know if he has an attorney. Oh, interesting. For all of you who don't understand the seriousness of the situation, we must never forget that the 9/11 terrorists received their flight training in the US. They, along with the other hijackers, entered the US on visitor visas and then had their status changed to vocational students so that they could attend a flight school in Florida. They obtained their training here in the US that allowed them to pilot the hijacked planes into the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. You're still okay with non-citizens breaking our laws and attempting to obtain firearms and being permitted to police you. I actually didn't know that they got trained in the US. It seems that it is illegal to overstay your visa and illegally purchase a firearm. Pretty straightforward, yeah, right? The entire board of California Highlands Community Charter School has resigned after an audit found they funneled $180 million in taxpayer funds meant to teach adult immigrants English. But the students were fake, the classrooms didn't exist, and the money funded six-figure jobs for friends and luxury travel. And I was like, that seems like it should be a really large story if true. California Schools Board resigns after audit shows $180 million in wrongly received funds, wasteful spending, and nepotism. Each member of the board of the directors overseeing Highlands Community Charter and Technical Schools in Sacramento either resigned or was removed weeks after the release of a report by the California State Auditor that found the school improperly received over $180 million in education funding. In addition, the report, published June 24th, says the audited charter school engaged in questionable financial transactions and conflicts of interest, including unlawful gifts, luxury travel, and the hiring of unqualified individuals. This moment is about accountability at every level. Jonathan Raymond, who recently came on as an executive director of the school, said in a statement obtained by ABC 10. I asked for these resignations because I believed Highlands' future depends on a clean break from past governance failures. I wish we could do that with our government officials, you know? I wish we could just be like, look, all of you guys are corrupt and you're funneling money and you're probably a pedophile, get the fuck out. Like, can we just do that? According to the local broadcaster, the California Department of Education has requested Highlands return the $180 million in misallocated funds. The audit report states Highland wasn't eligible for $177 million in funding it received in fiscal years 2022 to 23 and 23 to 24. It also estimates millions of dollars in overpayments were issued due to misreported attendance figures. During a special board meeting on July 7th, members voted to remove Sonja Cameron. The report suggests an employee in a leadership role with a salary of $145,860 may have originally been hired by the school with the help of their board member mother and lacks qualifications for their current position, including a bachelor's degree. ABC 10 identified the employee as Cameron's daughter. After Cameron's removal, the remaining 6 board members, Ernie Daniels, Matt Powers, Rick Jones, Sharon Rocco, Mike Reed, and Mary DeChance, announced their resignations. At least 3 members, however, will remain until replacements are named in order to keep the school operational. That's a lot of... That's funny. That's funny how they got one person on the corruption and everyone else was like, oh, we just resigned. We're out. There's no shot they even see a penny of that money returned. I really doubt it. I really doubt they'll see any of that money returned. Meanwhile, pressure is being applied for the school to pay back the funds it apparently wasn't supposed to receive. Those were taxpayer dollars that were wrongfully received by Highlands operators. Al Muratsushi, chair of the state's Assembly Education Committee, told ABC 10. So it's only right they have to pay that money back. Raymond provided a statement to the broadcaster saying the school is reviewing its legal options, calling the repayment demand political theater, and warning that returning the funds would force the school to shut down. Well, see, here's where that wouldn't happen, right? If you force the people who misallocated the funds and use the funds for either personal or nepotistic reasons, why don't you get those people to repay the funds instead of the school district, right? Wouldn't that make the most sense? Wouldn't that make the most sense? Just jail the ones who use the money? Yeah, exactly. Just like fucking get the ones who actually abuse the money instead of the full school district. Quintessential nepotism and embezzlement? Yeah, exactly. Lawmakers, regulators, and CDE cannot let that happen. Not to tens of thousands of immigrants, refugees, and second-chance students who count on Highlands as a lifeline, he said. Well, I mean, if they had been misappropriating funds for multiple years, clearly the school doesn't need quite as much money as it was claiming it does. So I think you might be able to wiggle around having to pay back some of this, but I still believe that the people who actually misallocated it should be the ones to pay it back. Beyond the political fallout, families and students may face challenges. For many adult learners, including immigrants and working parents, Highlands served as an affordable path to diplomas, job training, and a second chance at education. If the school shuts down or scales back its services, students may need to seek more expensive alternative options. Here are some ways students can cope. I think that's really funny that like the people who are always saying we need, money for these things and like we need to fund these things are the ones who immediately took the funding away. That's kind of funny. For now, Highlands' future remains uncertain, but the audit has sent a clear message about the importance of oversight in school board. And I just like, are any of these people going to face repercussions? Because once again, like it's easier to just go after the school and be like, hey, school, pay money back. But it should be directly on the shoulders of the people who misappropriated the funds. Teen boys die in agony as 39 are killed in brutal South African circumcision ritual. The government blames criminal gangs who have set up hundreds of unregulated illegal initiation schools with untrained medics who botch the circumcisions. What the fuck is happening? What the fuck is happening? Why Why are there illegal circumcision initiation schools? What is this? What is happening? When they stop trying after the first, you think they would. A tribal initiation ceremony where teenage males in South Africa undergo agonizing circumcision has ended, with 39 deaths and dozens more boys mutilated. Despite a target being set by the government of 0 fatalities in 2025, the figure is still a huge drop on last year's figure of 93, and a total of 361 boys in the last 5 years. Like, this is a completely optional thing. Like, you don't have to circumcise them, and so if you just don't, then they stop dying. Am I the crazy one here? Gruesome complications in 2024 led to 11 penis amputations after unskilled traditional surgeons used old spears and razor blades to perform the eye-watering rituals. The rituals have been held for centuries in secret in specialty-built huts away from the villages where nobody except the tribal elders and the young initiates can enter. Well, it's not really secret if we know exactly where the huts are and what the huts are for, right? Like, I mean, I guess we can't go inside and see what's happening during the ritual, but I'm sure we can guess. The government lays the blame on criminal gangs who have set up hundreds of unregulated illegal initiation schools with untrained medics who botch the circumcisions. I'm gonna be honest with you. If these are rituals held in secret in specialty-built huts, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say probably almost all of them who are doing the ritual are untrained in circumcision. Or, like, I can't imagine, like, actual doctors going out to these huts and being like, well, time to peel your cock like a carrot. You ready, son? They ignore the law that anyone aged under 16 cannot undergo the ritual and charge high prices to families to carry out ulwaluko, often with fatal or horrific end results. Then why don't they stop?
Stop it. Get some help.
Gangrene, sepsis, and dehydration are the main cause of death, even though it has been reported boys who back out had also been stabbed, drowned, or beaten to death. Yeah, that makes sense. You don't want to get your cock mutilated like some freak-ass carrot? Time to beat you to death. What the? It's tradition. There are hundreds of reports a year of illegal schools kidnapping boys as young as 12 and carrying out the surgery, then forcing the parents to pay to get their sons back. The very last line. Okay, never mind. There's more article. I was gonna say, are you kidding me? This is more than just an issue with circumcision. They're literally getting kidnapped and mutilated. It's like both the kids and the parents did not consent to this. Holy shit. So it's not even voluntary. Why was this buried like halfway down the article? Holy shit. The Customary Initiation Act has been introduced to make it illegal for unregistered initiation schools to be set up, and all traditional surgeons must now be qualified. Police now have the powers to shut down the illegal schools and arrest the principals. Every year, tens of thousands of boys undergo the transition from boy to manhood, which is a sacred ceremony dating back for generations despite the very high death rate. The Minister for the Department of Governance and Traditional Affairs had set a target of 0 deaths for 2025 in registered schools while police shut down the illegal schools. According to Tribal Chief Saifo Malangu, Deputy Chair of the National House of Traditional Leaders, 80% of initiates who die or are mutilated are the victims of the illegal schools. Oh, well, it's great that the leader of one of the other schools is telling us we investigated ourselves, and it's actually the ones who are unregistered that are the problem. That's I believe him.
Pardon me, but that's bullshit.
Most die due to severe dehydration after being forced not to drink to prevent urination after circumcision. The government has pledged to cut the number of illegal schools preying on teenagers in half from 429 by 2029. Although boys have a choice as to whether they undertake the initiation, there is huge peer pressure, and those who refuse are named Inkwenkwe, or boy, a harsh insult.
Yeah, boy.
You see, this makes me think of, like, our country and, like, the illegal immigration or the crime problems, right? Where people who should be taking steps to mitigate the crime or put criminals in prison or get rid of the illegals will just kind of, like, make up shit. Right, and it's like, if you know how many illegal schools there are, why is it going to take you until 2029 to shut them down? If you know how many illegals there are in the United States and what it takes to get rid of them, why aren't you doing it faster, right? Like, it makes you think. Traditional surgeons charge parents to take the boys away for up to 3 weeks to teach them survival skills and how to behave as a man, and then perform the dreaded snip. I don't understand this. But, like, I can understand the, son, we're going to take you out hunting and how to survive in the harsh weathers of the African deserts. And then we're gonna shave your penis like a carrot. Like, what? What do those have to do with one another? I don't understand. Scotty Dawka, 19, went to an initiation school despite having seen a TV program on penile amputations. I was, of course, very scared of going. In my community, many boys went through the initiation before me, and I wanted to be the same as them. I wanted to be looked up to as a man in my village by the elders. It was very painful to go through, and I fell ill, but I was treated and survived, he told a local reporter. Anne Kamalo had her 16-year-old son kidnapped when he went to a local store along with 22 other boys and taken to an illegal initiation school 20 miles away in Soweto. Can I ask what the point of this is? Like, I'm trying to understand the mentality. Is this just like a whole bunch of guys who are angry that they got circumcised, and so now they're like, we must kidnap the younger men and circumcise them against their will because it happened to us, and so fuck them? Like, that is literally the only mindset I can think of. Because if you're doing something for the good of someone, you wouldn't have to kidnap them to do it. You just talk to the parents, right? Like, she said, I was charged 1,000 R to get him back or warned he would be killed, and when police found the school, the boys had been badly treated, whipped, and beaten. Political party Action South Africa's Eastern Cape leader Athol Trollop, his last name is actually Trollop, said the bulk of deaths are caused by illegal initiation schools run by opportunistic and unqualified individuals. Now all the schools have to be registered and the surgeons properly trained. In launching this year's winter initiation season, the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Mr. Velen Cassini Halabisi, I'm butchering all of these names, I'm sorry, vowed to reduce the death toll greatly. All initiation schools are accountable, and any school that contravenes the law and endangers lives, then the law is unequivocal and they will be closed down at once. We cannot accept any more deaths and owe it to these young men and their families to ensure their journey into adulthood is safe, dignified, respected, and of course safe. Well, he doubled up on the safe, man. We cannot bring back the lives lost last year or before that, but we can honor them by ensuring that no family has to ever endure going through that pain again. Former South African President Nelson Mandela wrote about the spiritual meaning of his own circumcision as a teenager, before becoming accepted as a freedom fighter. Those who have undergone the sacred ritual are sworn to secrecy and considered tribal outcasts, and severely beaten or killed if they tell anyone what the process entails. Well, it's a good thing that anyone with any amount of brain cells knows that Nelson Mandela was a crazy freak, so you shouldn't do anything he said, right? The worst of the injuries occur from botched circumcisions carried about by tribal nurses, never trust a nurse, who may use the same spear for many boys, which cause mass infection. I'm just thinking about the rates of HIV infection in Africa and what would like come over someone, even as like an illegal botched circumcision doctor, to just use the same tool to keratify multiple penises. What is it like to not be able to think about consequences? I don't understand. They don't understand hygiene and STD spread? I don't know, man. The wounds are tightly wrapped with bandages that cut off the blood supply to the area, and within 10 hours, the genitals can become gangrenous and need amputating. I don't even have a penis, but imagining, like, the pain in a body part when it becomes gangrenous. You can't even pay a streamer to put, like, hot sauce on a gangrenous penis and lick it, probably, right? Many initiates do not seek medical treatment despite being in agony for up to 10 days, having been told that if it falls off, it will grow back, but then they die from sepsis. What a fucking sentence. What the fuck am I reading? This is like when you see those posts of like, yeah, the doctor told me that I'm going to get like a designer vagina and it's going to be like so much better than the real thing. In the summer season from November to January, 28 boys have died, and in the winter season from May, 11 have died, and the figure for penile amputations is unreported. Yeah, I just have a feeling that most of this, we're shutting these illegal circumcision schools down, is probably just lip service to not look bad. I would like for there to be something done, because this is disgusting. This is disgusting, and I can only imagine, like, not only the ones dying, obviously, but their families when they get kidnapped. Like, it's fucking dangerous out there, bro. Police are investigating the death of a 20-year-old Brazilian woman who died on a bus with 26 iPhones glued to her skin. The woman, who has not been publicly identified, died of cardiac arrest on July 29th, according to multiple outlets. Is this how you get the 5G poisoning? Cops suspect the young woman was likely smuggling the iPhones. Passengers on the bus told police the woman, who was traveling solo, had become ill during the trip from Foz do Iguaçu to Sao Paulo, according to the reports. She complained she was having trouble breathing. People said she collapsed and died when the bus stopped in the city of Guarupuava, located in the central region of Paraná. Emergency responders tried to revive the woman for 45 minutes and later said she suffered a seizure. She was pronounced dead at the scene, according to reports. While being treated, medics uncovered several packages glued to her body. The packages turned out to be 26 iPhones, according to the Daily Mail. Police also found several bottles of booze in her luggage, the outlet reported. The Paraná Civil Police are waiting on the forensic report before revealing what caused the breathing difficulties and the cardiac arrest. The cell phones are now in the possession of Brazil's Federal Revenue Service. I don't understand. We've been assured that the electrical pulses coming to and being sent by cell phones is so minimal that no ill health effects could come from using them, so that's a relief. But I wonder if anyone's conducted a study on the effect of having 24 of them glued to your body. Yeah? Yeah, I don't really know how... Like, I don't understand. So she was smuggling them, I guess. And I mean, I guess you can't put 26 iPhones in your anus, so at least we know the limit. Yeah, the limit is 25 iPhones. But like, they were in boxes, so it can't even be the phones. Did she use like toxic glue? And like, why would you glue packages to your body in the first place? I don't know, this just doesn't make sense to me.